the landscape of mobile and social media changing and affecting the behavior of Interactive Data's clients?
What we see is that most of our clients are, trying to push their services into mobile channels. That's kind of a given. Mobile channels are very much, present. Everybody is using a mobile channel. Recent studies shows that 45% alone in the UK of the people, are utilizing banking services do it via mobile devices. And that's certainly a trend that you can be seen in the whole of Europe. However, we still see that growing. And mobile is just one of different, or let's say of many channels. We're also looking at personalized homepages, and we're also looking into social media. And it's not just a trend anymore, right? I mean, what we see is current and first movers into social media providing their banking services in that channel. We're looking at ICICI Bank, for example, just recently started a banking application in Facebook. That's a very bold move. That's something that nobody's been doing before. We can see a startup in the States. It's called Loyal3. They are, supplying equity and brokerage services, equity trading and brokerage services in Facebook. That's certainly something that, nobody has been thinking about a couple of years ago. But it's certainly something that has the potential to change the marketscape entirely.
We've heard a lot about the need to engage online and in social networks, but what role do customizable, so-called widgets and apps play in connecting with clients?
These small widgets and bits and pieces of functionality, if you will, they play an essential role. You can use, as a financial institutions, these modules in order to supply your services into the different channels. This is typically something that's not being done today. I mean, if you look at the distribution model for financial service firms today, what they're doing is basically they expect their customer to come to them. You have to go to the branch, you have to go to the website in order to conduct your business. Whether it's transactions, whether it's some kind of non or near banking service, all of that's being conducted in either the branch or on the website. That's fundamentally changing today. People will expect that provide your services wherever you currently are. And that means that financial service firms have to change their business model from a typical pull mode, that means they're waiting for you, into a push mode, that means providing their services into these channels. And how would you potentially do that? If you look at the channels we're looking at, basically, it's a mobile channel, it's social media, it's smartphones, it's even personalized homepages. They are working with applications. That means small bits of information, small bits of application that kind of solve a particular information need, a particular banking and financial need. So what you need to do as a financial information, in our point of view, is a financial information provider, in our point of view, is you will need to provide your customer with applications in these channels. And these applications, widgets if you will, modules if you will, they will need to be interconnected, because what you don't want as a particular end user, for example, you don't want to change, for example, some kind of portfolio holding in your current portfolio in one channel and then have to redo all of this in another channel. What you want to have is a synchronized approach to these modules and a synchronized way of communication between those modules in all the channels that you basically supply, or let's say, that you basically are present in. You as a banking institution, you will have to be what we call omnipresent. You will need to follow your customer. You can't expect in the future anymore that your customer is going to be coming to you in each and every single location. So if you want to create stickiness, if you want to, get the business done where the customer actually is, you will have to follow your customer into these channels.
This concept of follow the customer has led many financial banks, financial institutions into channels they're not traditionally involved with, social networks and mobile applications. But there's a huge data management challenge associated with this multi-channel approach. So what do banks need to do to get their siloed legacy back office systems in order to support these channels?
You mentioned the right keyword there. What we see in the market is basically that banks are struggling, trying to utilize all these siloed databases that they have in place. It's certainly different from marketplace to marketplace. Traditionally, for example, in Germany, banks adopted an outsourcing approach much earlier and much more intense than, for example, in the UK. But still what we can see is typically legacy systems consist of different databases. And banks are really struggling with trying to get that data together and provide the consolidated services in form of applications into the different channels. So what they need to do is basically they need to put some kind of interfaces from a technology point of view, But what they need to do is they need to have a consolidated platform approach to supplying these services into the new channels. It's just not going to be enough to utilize one particular data item and, start a, let's say, singular mobile channel initiative. What you need to do basically really is to have all these databases aggregated, syndicated in a consolidated platform, and use that particular platform in order to deploy your multi-channel strategy, with a special emphasis on multi-channel strategy, because people simply expect you to be where they are, not just one particular channel.